Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you an odd way that I set up some of my pots here, living in Southern California, that helps retain some water for melons and squash and certain plants that need to always be a little bit damp for their fruit, to bear really good fruit. I set up pots for different things that I'm doing. This particular pot I'm going to put in the ground, but I'm going to set it up for either a Korean melon, watermelon, cantaloupe, maybe even some delicatas that I haven't planted yet, which I grew a lot of last year from seeds I got at the grocery store. Now, what I'm doing with this particular pot, and I'm hoping you can see that, is I am putting the holes up higher. So I just cut it with it's a scissors that's used for plants, trimming plants. And I brought it up about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I'm going to actually bury this in an area where it's going to be buried underneath. So this is going to be under the dirt, so the roots can grow out this way. The reason I've cut these holes all the way around, and I could even make them bigger if I wanted. Let's say this one's a little small and I want to make it a little bit bigger. What I'm going to do, or not do, is go to the bottom. I am not going to put any holes on the bottom. The idea of this is when it gets really hot in the summer and a lot of your melons need a lot of water, this will fill up on the bottom with water. So as the roots leave and grow wherever I plant it, the bottom will have, there's going to be soil down there, but it's going to be wet. So they can pull that water if they need it from the bottom of this pot. I like pots. I'm a small-time gardener, not a big gardener, so I'm not working with acreages of plants growing. And this way the plant will be growing here. When I water it, I know that the plant's getting the water. The water will go out through the holes in the soil because this is going to be buried. But I will know that this plant is always going to have some sort of water. Even if it's 100 degrees, it's going to have some sort of water in it. And this is what's going to work really good for me. There's different ways, different plants. It depends on what I'm growing. This particular, like I said, is going to have melons. If I was doing tomatoes, I might do it a little different. I might put the holes on the bottom and let the tomato roots leave. But I would like to grow some more extra melons and plants that do need a lot of water. And we do get really hot here in the summer and things dry out really, really fast. So I'm getting ready for summer is what it is, and getting ready on those days that are really, really hot. And this will work good. You can put as many holes as you want. I could put another one here. I could put another one right here if I want. It's the main thing is not to cut a hole on the bottom. So it's kind of like a wicking bed, but it's not. It's just that I'm giving the plant that will be in here, I'm giving it an opportunity to have the roots leave so it can get as big as it wants. But I'm also making sure that this plant is going to have some sort of damp soil as it grows, especially in melon. You wouldn't put a cactus in here because it would be too wet. You wouldn't want it. But melons are going to need it. So that's it. Now I'll go get this buried. I'll probably bury it up to around that much. And I'll figure out where I'm going to put this. The other thing I do with this is I make sure that the bottom is full of, I use collard leaves, Swiss chard. Broccoli can be used, cabbage leaves, leaves from the garden. What will happen with this once it's planted is the leaves attract earthworms. This becomes like a mini worm farm in with your plant. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to farm them and move them or do anything. They will come to this as it rots down. And as it breaks down in the water on the bottom, the worms will come and your plants will feed on it. So you're creating your own mini worm farm by just the earthworms finding their way outside to the matter that's breaking down inside. It's going to be damp, but there's going to be, you know, some wood chips or potting mix or native soil or compost, whatever you put in here. They'll be able to gravitate and go up and down the earthworms, and it's been working great for me. It's a mini worm farm in your own tub that you created with matter from your own garden. I will say that some of the best breaking down leaves for this I have found has been collard. I grow tons of collard, but you can use broccoli, you can use kale, you can use Swiss chard, anything like that. Any of the kale will work, but this will break down underneath. You won't see this because the plant will be on the top growing out, and your worms will be going through here and feeding. And then of course some will spill out and they're going to be feeding all around. If you pulled this out, once you have this set wherever it is, you would find this whole thing would be full of earthworms. Of course, it does depend on where you are. We're here in Southern California, but the earthworms will come to this on their own. So if I buried this right in my garden, in the soil, straight into the ground, they would find it. If I bury it in one of my compost in place bins, they'll find that too, because they find their way in there. They crawl up the sides. It's amazing how earthworms can crawl up plastic, and they'll climb up and go in. So if you want, try that. It works really good for me. It doesn't matter if the leaves are brown. I do a mix. So I have green and brown and yellow. Even stems from the Swiss chard. I have red Swiss chard. And now I can put whatever I want to put on the top and get my plant planted or my seeds planted and get this in the ground. So I'm going to put that pot in this old truck bed that used to grow the spaghetti squash and tomatoes. I'm going to put that pot in the truck bed. This is off the ground, so I know the rabbits can't get it. Hopefully the deer won't. See, this is going to go down. Let me see if I can tilt the camera a little bit. This is going to go down below the holes. So the holes are going to be underground that I did in this pot. And I'm going to plant, I'm not sure yet what, but I can get this set up and ready to go. It's going to be either a watermelon or a Korean melon or something like that. But it's good to get it set up early and make sure you water it, because remember, this is alive. So what I'm going to do is remove this. And in the hole, I've dug that out. You can see I've dug it all out here already. And this is where the pot's going to fit in. I am also going to throw in a lot of leaves. This is going to bring all the earthworms to this area because it's going to be underground. It's going to be damp. It's going to be under the pot now. They're going to go to this. And then, oh, here, I'll do some more. I'm going to put some collard in there. That was Swiss chard. Here's some collard. I don't think I'll put the stems in here because I want it to break down and the pot will kind of drift down a little bit because it's just leaves. Okay, so we've got collard leaves and some Swiss chard and some dinosaur kale in there. Now see, the holes here are going to be inside underneath the soil. Okay, now what I need to do, got that situated, I've got to go get some soil or wood chips and fill that up and start watering this, and then I can plant whatever I want in here. The roots are going to leave, and I'm planting this in an old truck bed we've got, but I'll have control. So when I water this pot, whatever plant is growing here is going to get the water. Then it's going to leave, and the worms are going to go in and out because this has got earthworms in it. So let me get some wood chips, since that's what I'm going to do here. And you know what? Around the sides, I'm going to stuff some more because it will all break down. Beautiful. All the way around. Trying to save my walking onions that are in here. Now I'm going to go get some wood chips. Now the holes are buried. The earthworms are going to be able to get to the leaves that are on the bottom. of the pot, as well as the leaves that are inside the bottom of the pot. The pot's going to hold a little bit of water, and the soil I've got in here is actually the soil that came out of the truck bed where I'm planting this particular pot. You can do this in the ground. You can do this in one of those compost and place bins. You could do it anywhere you want in this fashion. That's what I do. I do it in different places. Since I'm not putting the seed in this minute, I can top this with wood chips and water it really good. Now, if you don't have wood chips, don't worry. You can use potting soil that you can get at your nursery, the big box store, whatever you want to do. But for now, I'm going to do this. And when I'm ready, I'll just move the wood chips over, and I could either put some potting soil in here if I want and plant some seeds, or I could just do it the way it is. But now it's all ready to go, and I can decide anytime. Weather's been a little cool right now, so as soon as the weather is right for squash or whatever, I can put anything I want in this. And it's got its own little raised bed, and this is going to work out perfect. And it's always going to have that little bit of water on the bottom. It won't be water because it will break down, but it will be damp, which is going to be perfect for the hot, hot summer. So the pot's all ready to go. I'm going to plant what I want in here. Sorry for the sunglasses. I went for an eye exam that I usually go for every year, and now they said they don't want to see me for a while. And so my eyes are dilated, and I'm supposed to be waiting in the house until it wears off. But I feel fine, and I wanted to come out here and do a little something. So I figured while I was doing it, I might as well get it on video so you guys can see some of the different techniques I use in gardening. And it's been working really good. I just love the way the pot doesn't have the holes on the bottom in here, and so in the hot summer, this is going to stay a little damp. And the melons, especially melons, they like to have water. They want to make sure there's a lot of water. Watermelons, it doesn't matter if it's cantaloupe, Korean melons, any of those. They like to make sure, that there's a little dampness around there and they don't dry out. So this is going to work out really good. And plus, any leftover water is going to go out and feed whatever else is growing in here. So with that, it's a cool day today. Can you believe I'm in a sweater? Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. And if you don't eat it, bury it, because your plants will eat it. It's not always just you. Bye-bye.